Hi everyone, Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, and I'm here at my healing center, the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. Um, so today I want to look at the Tree of Life and just give you a little bit of a primer on the Tree of Life and how I utilize it with the tarot cards um, and how I use it with the planets. So there are many ways of looking at the Tree of Life. Of course, this is the plain Tree of Life that we see here. And we see that it is made up of circles and paths that connect those circles. The circles are called the Sephira, or Sephiroth is singular. The word Sephira means emanation. And then we have the paths that connect the Sephiroth. And we can see these here as these paths connect the circles. Now, the paths are different in the Sephiroth in this respect. The Sephiroth, or circles, or emanations, are objective experiences. This is how I like to describe it. If each Sephiroth was a different type of, we'll say, building, okay? If one Sephiroth was a bank and one was a restaurant, one was a library, one was a hospital. When you would walk into that place, right, that Sephiroth, you would know what kind of experiences you could expect, right? So if you walk into a bank, you could expect, hopefully, that you could cash a check or that you could deposit money. If you walk into a restaurant, you hope that you could have a good meal. If you walk into a hospital, you hope that you could go for some sort of medical treatment to help you feel better, say you're sick. So each one of these Sephiroth has a sort of prescribed energy to it. The experiences that you experience are pretty much set. It's, of course, it's how you react and respond to the situations you find yourself in. But there are themes associated with each one of these circles. Now, the paths, however, are kind of the roads that connect the hospital to the bank or the restaurant, right? So it is the sort of the path that we walk upon to get from one place to another. The paths, whereas the Sephiroth, or the emanations, or the circles, are connected with specific uh, sort of predestined uh, experiences. The paths are much more subjective. The paths are do not have a set per se perspective. What they do have is they have an energy. They do have an energy, but it is more interactive in that when you are on a path, you are experiencing life. There's no sort of set way of understanding it except in how you're going to interact with it. So the circles or sephira are more objective and the paths are much more subjective. And so, why does that matter? Well, one of the things that I want to bring up with this is that uh, previous to 2000, we were spending most of our time for the most part, we were spending most of our time in the circles, in the Sephiroth, okay? When 2000 rolled around, suddenly we found ourselves spending uh, years in these on these paths, and so there was less. It had more to do with our own development, our own subjective development along these paths, than it did with learning lessons within, like, a bank or a restaurant or a hospital. Whatever that circumscribed energy was. So that sort of that's the difference there. Okay. So there are many ways to look at the tree of life. You can separate it out in many ways. There is a school of Kabbalah where there are four separate trees for the four worlds, what they call the world of spirit, the world of soul, the world of thought, I think, in the world and the actual world, right? So there are many ways to look at it, and if you do if you Google the Kabbalah, you'll find all kinds of different ways. And the word Kabbalah actually means to receive. And so my personal relationship with the Tree of Life has been one of receiving the information when I was ready to receive it. Okay. So as much as you study the Kabbalah and you work with the Kabbalah, it will divulge itself to you through the process. So everybody's rate of sort of, I don't want to say comfort, because it's not an uncomfortable place, but what you're going to get from it. And of course, as with any relationship, the more you put into it, the more you get back from it, right? So, of course, we have the, as you sow, so shall you reap, because we're here, and that's the way things work here. Okay, so that's one way to look at the Tree of Life. Another way to look at the Tree of Life is to see how it connects, first of all, to the numbers. Now, I have here on this one, okay, here we see the Tree of Life, and we have the circles have been colored in. Now, depending on what level, whether you're on the spiritual or the creative or the mental or the physical level, if you look into Kabbalah, these colors are different, right? There are different colors for different levels, but this is I believe this is the color for um, the creative tree. Now, as you can see, there are numbers here, and these numbers correspond not only to the tarot cards, the numbered tarot cards, but also this is the number of the Kabbalah. These are so this is the first Sephiroth, the first emanation, and this is the second, and this is the third, and this is the fourth. And if you follow this, we have what we call the lightning path. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to color in the lightning path. And this is how spirit expresses itself. And so we can see, this looks a little different, where the red is, where the yellow is, sorry, is the lightning path. Okay. Now, that's how spirit expresses itself through the tree. That is how spirit moves through the tree. That sort of lightning flash. And that's why lightning is often associated with illumination or downloading. When you see if you look at the Rider-Waite deck and you look at the Tower card, you see that we have the lightning flash here. Okay, we have the lightning flash here. We also have what it's hitting is it's hitting the crown, right? And that's actually what this Sephiroth is, the crown. Okay. So if we look here, we can see all the numbers. So all the aces are here, all the twos are here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10s. Okay. Now, if you're looking at the court cards in the tarot, we have this. Okay. So up here we have the kings. Okay. And the kings are all connected to the element of fire. Fire is the element of intuition. It's the element of spirit. It is a masculine element. It is an element that moves up. Okay, so when you see the symbol for fire, it is a triangle pointing up. And then over here, we have the queens. And the queens are connected with the element of water. And water is the triangle moving down. Okay? So so fire and water are the two primary elements of creation. Okay? Now here in the center of the tree, we have the knights. Okay? The knights, or in some decks called the princes. Okay? Different decks have different names for these, but the knights are the actual action, the actual the act of air, fire, earth, water, right? But the knights themselves are associated with air. And air, the symbol for air, is also a triangle moving up. You see that? Air is masculine, just like fire. So fire and air are both masculine elements. And now we have the pages down here, or in some decks, it's called the princesses. And earth, the symbol for earth, is also, because this is associated with earth, is also the triangle pointing down. So both earth and water are feminine, and earth and water fall down. So if you take water, so if I were to, and I'm not going to because I don't want to get wet, if I were to tip this glass over, the water would fall to the ground. So water falls down. If I had a plant here and took a lump of dirt, or if I took one of my crystals, say I took this crystal and I let go, it falls to the ground, right? So it goes down. Now fire, when you light a candle, fire goes up, right? So I'm going to light, oops. I'm going to light this match. There we go. And you see? Yeah, it goes up, right? Now, if we were to blow this out, you see the smoke rises? Now, of course, we don't see air. We don't see air. But the smoke rises, and that's the air, so air rises. So air is masculine. Now, there's also other, not only is there rising and falling of the elements, there's also concentration and dispersion. And so fire concentrates, earth concentrates, air disperses, water disperses. So not only are we talking about rising up and falling down, but we're talking about concentration and we're talking about dispersion. Okay. Now, if you look here, in that respect, we have the king, which is fire energy moving up and concentrating. Over here, we have the queens, energy moving down and dispersing. The knight, we have energy moving up and dispersing. And when you get down to the page here, we have energy coalescing and falling. Okay, so that's the different energies that you can sort of connect with the kings and the queens and the pages and the elements. So these are all sort of part of the basic tenets or the basic energies that we're dealing with. When you talk about astrology, we have basic energies in astrology. We have expansion and contraction. We have polarity. We have elements. We have beginning, middle, and end. I will go over all of this in my beginner's astrology class. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Okay, so we have we looked at the numbers, we looked at the lightning path, right? And then we looked at the kings and the queens. Now, what about the major arcana? How do the major arcana show themselves on the tree? And the major arcanas actually are found on the paths. There are 22 paths and 22 major arcanas. Now, what I did here is I did not put, well, some of them I did, but for the most part, this is not about the major arcana. What I put here is on the 22 paths, we find the planets and we find the signs of the zodiac. There are 10 planets and 12 signs of the zodiac, 22. Okay. And what I did here is what I highlighted in red, which ones were planets. The rest of them are the signs of the zodiac. Okay. So we have 3 planets up here making up the top triangle. We have 2 planets here on either side. This is connecting the higher vibrational self with the lower self. Okay. Interesting about that is that the 2 planets that connect the higher self to the lower self are planets of expansion, Neptune and Jupiter. We have Mars down here, right in the center, here along this spot here. Energetically, this is where the solar plexus is, so that's where Mars sort of sits. We have Saturn here, connecting the 9th Sephiroth to the 10th Sephiroth, and we have Pluto over here, connecting the 7th to the 10th Sephiroth. So that's another way of looking at this, and you can also put your planets on the tree of life by where the signs sit. So actually, it looks like I missed one of the. Okay, here we go. There's the sun. I missed the sun. How can you miss the sun? It's like the most important planet in the solar system. They don't call it a Pluto system. They call it a solar system. Okay. But here we have the different signs of the zodiac. So this here is the Aries line. This is the path of Aries. This is the path of Gemini. We have Cancer over here. We have Taurus over here. Virgo, Libra, Capricorn, Scorpio, Aquarius, Pisces. I think I got them all. Oh, Leo. Can't forget Leo, right in the middle of the throat chakra, our ability to self-express. And so you can actually see on the tree of life where your planets fall, okay? Where your planets fall. And what I think I might do is I might take a certain person, one person, and perhaps one famous person, and put their planets on the tree of life, and we can see what we can get. That's one way of doing it. I won't do that in this video, but we will do this in other videos so we can look at the different various ways of looking at an individual using the tree of life. Okay. There's another way of separating out or organizing the tree, and that is through the idea of the pillars. Okay. If you were to take the tree of life and create 3 pillars, okay, we have a central pillar called the middle pillar, or the pillar of transformation. We have a pillar here on the left side of the tree. This is the third Sephiroth. This is Bina, and it is the top of the pillar of severity. And then we have Hokmah over here, which is, oh no, sorry, this is severity and this is mercy. We have mercy here. So we have the pillar of mercy, the pillar of severity, and the middle pillar. And you could separate out this also into future, present, and the past. So the past, or the masculine pillar, is the pillar of the past. The pillar of severity is the feminine pillar. and that is the pillar of the future, and the middle pillar, or the pillar of transformation, it is the pillar of the present. And so where you happen to have planets located, numbers located, excuse me, you can see whether, whether you're a transformer, if you have a lot of stuff in the middle pillar, if you have a lot of stuff in the future pillar, you have the type of life that you can't plan but 3 months ahead of time, because you're creating your future as you go. If you have a lot of um, um, numbers, excuse me, over here in the past, it's very possible that this life is about reviewing the past, or it could be, this life could be about accessing the past and past lives and past abilities. So it kind of just depends on where the numbers fall. And how do you find the numbers? Well, you find the numbers through somebody's name and somebody's day of birth. And that is going to be a separate video. But I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of a taste of the Tree of Life. There's a lot to be said about this. There's a lot to learn about this. Here's another one that we didn't look at yet. This is, again, the pillars. What I put here is I use the English words, and on this one, I use the Hebrew words. Okay, and we can see that these are pretty much the same, right? Okay. But on this one, I put the planets associated with the Sephiroth. Okay, the planets associated with Sephiroth. So each one of these Sephiroth is associated with the planet. Well, most of them are. Up here in number 1, we have something called the Whirlings. Okay, Kether, or crown, and you can see it says crown up there, is the root of all things. In fact, all the emanations emanate out of Kether. Kether is it's almost like an opening. So this is my understanding. The divine decides that it's going to manifest, but it needs to create a space to manifest. So it creates this circle of nothingness. I'm not sure they call it a vacuum or not. I can't remember that, and I apologize for that. But here, let me do it this way. All right. So there's this circle. Spirit decides that it wants to manifest. And there's nothing, there's nothingness. Okay? And it creates the crown like this. So the crown is really a way for the divine to manifest. And so the energy comes down through the crown like that. Okay. And then from the crown, it goes to Hokmah, to Bina, to Hesed, to Geburah, to Tiphareth, to Netzach, to Hod, to Yesod, to Malkuth. Okay? It goes from the crown to wisdom, to understanding, to mercy, to severity, to beauty, to victory, to glory, to foundation, to kingdom. Okay. So we have the whirlings, or creation, and then we go to Hokmah, and in Hokmah we see the zodiac. Okay, we see the whole zodiac. From Hokmah we go to Bina, where we have the planet Saturn. Saturn is This is the spiritual Saturn, because there's two places on the Tree of Life where we find Saturn. So this is creation, unity consciousness that expresses itself. And this is force. This is pure force. Hokmah is the place of all light and pure force. When we move into Bina, we move into the Sephiroth of constraint. There's constraint. Saturn constrains. Saturn encapsulates. This is the divine feminine. Unity, divine masculine, divine feminine. Okay. And then it goes down into the Hesed. Hesed with Jupiter is about building. It's an energy of building. And then we come to 5 here. This is Gabura connected to Mars. We have Jupiter here. We have Mars here. And this is cutting away. So this is growth and this is cutting away. This is the balance between the growth and the cutting away. Okay. Then we come here to the center. Okay, to the place of the sun, the place of beauty. This is a place of balance. Everything through here has to do with balance and the present moment. So we have the sun here, and then we move over to Netzach here. We have Venus, and this is where we have our feelings. Okay. This is our feelings, and then we move over here to Hod or glory, and this is where we have our mind. This is our logical mind. This is the Sephiroth of the brain. So this is our feelings, and this is our mental capacity, our reason. And then we go here to the moon. Okay, this is the place of foundation. Okay. And then we come down to the kingdom, the earth. Okay. Malkuth. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of just a little bit of a taste of what you can expect when I teach my Kabbalah class. And I am looking to schedule that. So if you're interested in that, you can email me. I'll put a link below. If you're interested in astrology class, you can contact me also. Whatever classes you would be interested in me teaching, I am interested in learning from me. I'm interested in teaching. So I'm going to put that out there for you. So that's just a little something on the Tree of Life. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you find it helpful. I hope it piques your curiosity. I think any tool that helps us understand ourselves and our place in the world makes the world a better place. When you would walk into the Oracle of Delphi, over the door, it would say, know thyself. And when it means thyself, it's not simply a exercise in egomania, but it's about knowing yourself, capital S, your spiritual self. And through connecting with your spiritual self, you connect with the higher realms, and it becomes more and more evident the higher kind of that you explore, the more connected we all are. And there's more power up there, right? Because you have more influence. The higher up you are, the more influence you have. But it's not a power over dynamic. It's an immanence. It's a power within. And so you can go up there, but you can't, when you get into the higher realms, you can't master, you're not master and commander of the world. That's more lower realm stuff. And that's where we find a lot of people working from with a lot of money, trying to control the manifested the manifested world. And so we are rising up, and we need the tools to help us understand just how we are influencing and what we sort of need to do for ourselves to get to that place, to be more aware, to be more integrated and to connect with the spirit that resides within us. Okay, guys, like and subscribe. Let me know if you're interested in me teaching this class. Um, Email me. That's probably the best way I can make and if it's okay, I'll use those emails as a list so I can let you know when this class is happening. I'm actually looking to the spring for this because that's probably how long it's going to take me to get this together. I've done this classes before, but I've done it to people, you know, in my office, in my classroom. I haven't done it online, so I have to get some things lined up so that you have the information that you need when the time comes to teach it. Have a great day. Like and subscribe. Bye.